I call this committee the whole meeting to order on Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 at 6 p.m. If we could please take a roll call.
Julie Jetty is absent. Jason Jancic is absent. Mindy Hartman is absent. Stacy Assault.
Here.
Dee Darling.
Here.
Bridget Sandlin. Catherine Potter.
Here.
Next up, we have the acceptance of the agenda. Items for discussion may be added to the agenda at the start of the meeting at the request of the superintendent or any board member upon majority approval of those members present. Does any board member have an item to add? Hearing none. Next up is community input. Doesn't look like we have anybody signed up today. So we'll skip to the approval of the previous meeting minutes. The approval of the minutes from the January 20th, 2026 meeting. Does any board member have any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, if we could put those on consent. Our topics for discussion tonight. First up are the review of bills. Are there any questions for Mr. Shepherd? Hearing none. Next up, we have the construction bid approval for summer 2026. Mr. Shepherd and Mr. Martin.
Yeah, so we were hoping to have the bid documents for the upcoming construction season ready for the board to review. We did hold the bid opening last week. We had 3 bids that were submitted, and the lowest bid was submitted by Tyler Lane Construction. At this point in time, we are still vetting their bid. And going through all of the different requirements that they were required to answer to. We will be prepared to make a recommendation next week, but we want to make sure that we have all of the materials as the board has requested ready for you. So we'll be bringing that to you next week for discussion and approval. The bids were actually fairly close together, the 3 bids that we received. And just so the board is aware, the low bid came in at just under or just over $10.6 million, but that is for a complete renovation of Deer Path and then also work at 3 Oaks as well to finish off that building from its most recent renovation, which happened, I believe, 5-6 years ago now.
Perfect. Next up, we have the facility usage fees. Mr. Shepherd, Mr. Martin.
So I will also take this one, and Mr. Martin can jump on in if there are any questions. We've provided the board tonight 2 documents. First, the current facility usage fee structure that we use, and then our proposed rental fee. We are raising the rates for the custodial services, I believe. Just the rental. We are raising it. I want to say by about $5, and then we're also adding in some charges for snow plowing. Currently, if we have people here on the weekend and there's snow, the district has been paying for the snow removal and salting. We feel that if people are going to use the facility on the weekend, that they should help cover the cost of snow removal and salting, because otherwise we wouldn't necessarily have a snow removal crew here on, say, a Saturday morning. We'd wait until the latest possible time to be ready for Monday. So unless there are questions, we do have the proposed facility usage fees here for board review and the current fees, but we are recommending some minor increases, and then moving forward in the future, we're going to need to look at possibly escalating these fees a little bit more, keeping in mind that we have renovated facilities and we want to make sure we're maintaining them.
I have a question. The snow plowing and salting, the $250, is that like the whole weekend, like, or per school? Because like I know like we're here all winter, so like $250 for junior high, $250 for Deer Path. How's that work?
So every visit just for salting for the Cary Junior High is $700.
Yeah.
So that's every visit. So if it continuously snows over the weekend, so every time the guys have to come out would be another $700. So the proposed $250 for an event would offset that and some of the custodian fees because they get paid as well. I split the snow salting and snow removal into 2 parts. The custodians take care of everything close to the buildings and the entrances, And then the parking lots, paths, main sidewalks by Crystal Lake Road, that's part of the services provided by Arctic Snow and Salt Removal. And that's just Cary Junior. And then Deer Path is another one that gets used over the weekend.
Yeah.
So that one is every time they come out for salting, I believe is just under $500. So it's merely just a little extra to help to make sure. It really wouldn't offset much. It's just something to help offset some of those charges.
I get that. I was just curious. So like it snows Saturday. We're playing basketball at the junior high at Deer Path. Deer Path is paying the fees. Junior high is paying the fee. There's 500. Snows again on Sunday. It's another 500.
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I
Yeah.
understood because I feel like I'm going to get asked.
Yeah,
So-
because then otherwise, like right now for the other schools that there aren't any activities on the weekends, and I verified that for all of February. So I told the snow company to wait. If anything happens after Friday night at 10, so that the building should be totally empty by then, wait until Sunday night or early Monday morning before school starts that next week, so that they come one time for like, say, 1, 2 inches of snow, even if it comes at different times over the weekend versus just coming continuously when nobody's in the buildings.
Right. I totally get it. I was just curious. And then I was actually just curious of one more thing. So I'm not against raising the rates, but I was curious, what is by raising it a little bit, are you making like a significant amount more money by raising it that little bit? Like what percent of the
Well,
budget
like,
is helping you?
so like the normal, like say you add them both together, it's $80 an hour. Like then the proposed would be $90 per hour. So that extra amount, as far as like how much it contributes to the total fund, I don't know, is that like
Not
eight
significant,
percent?
just a little bit, right?
8%, and then a little bit of those snow and salting fees. So then it would just make sure that there's some there to reinvest
Yeah.
into maintaining like either the basketball backstops or the floor or painting, or sometimes the cages on the clocks or different devices might get damaged, the outlets, things like that.
Yeah.
So with the current fee structure, facility usage fees, I believe, have brought in around $200,000 for the O&M fund, Fund 20. We did look at how our rates compare with neighboring districts. This does bring it up to par with what other places are charging. So we're not like ahead of the pack with how we're not pricing people out, but we're also not providing them with such a bargain that we're flooding our facilities with people that want to use them.
I get that. Just the question.
No, for sure.
A question too. So it says during winter months, which is from what are you deeming like December, like mid-December to mid-March?
No, the current contract for like snow and salting, it starts in October,
Okay.
and then I believe it goes all the way to April, just in case.
So this fee will be charged for any event from October through April.
If it snows, yes.
Oh, only if it snows.
Only if it snows.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not just a
Seasonal
fee to add
Oh,
like
okay.
per visit or per use. It's
Okay.
only if it snows.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is our snow removal, if this is approved by the board, is the snow removal company, do they get notified if there's a program going on here, or
Oh.
will they be just like told, hey, no one's here, don't plow it till
Yeah.
Sunday night?
Before the weekends, like, or even any snow event, like I communicate directly with their representative from Arctic to make sure we have a plan or when they are going to be visiting to get things done. If it happens after the school day, before night, or for a plan for the next day. So yeah, I'm in constant contact with our representative, Tom, from Arctic, like every time there's any kind of precipitation.
Okay, thank you. I think this is really smart. I like it.
Yep.
It offsets costs. And so I like it. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
You got it.
Next up, we have the staffing plan, Dr. Thomas. Thank you. So I have been working with the admin team and with the principals, with the buildings, with the staff to take a look at our staffing plan for this year. So going into next year. And the one thing that we have been trying to do all year is keep as much as we can, things even, things level, just trying to keep things moving forward, all the good things moving forward, not make any big changes. So I think the staffing plan actually really reflects that as well. The outcomes that we're looking at is to provide an overview of the current enrollment across the district and also to ensure that staff is aligned to support the district in meeting its strategic plan goals. So strategic plan goals, I won't review those in detail, but the areas are student success, district learning culture, exceptional staff, strategic partnerships, and fiscal responsibility. So we're always trying to match what we're looking for in our strategic plan with the staffing, the programs, and all of the things that our students are going to need to be successful and again, in line with the goals. One of the things we look at is the enrollment trends. So this is information from the CASARDA study that was done back, I believe, in 2023. They take a very deep dive into what they predict enrollment trends will be. We did this with other districts in the county, particularly in Region 4. And it's very interesting. They look at everything from housing to, ages of people that are residents, how many residents, what the trends have been with people moving in and out. And they come up with a plan. The lines you see there, the red in the middle is if everything stays as expected and your enrollment is as expected. The line at the top is if enrollment is a little bit more than expected or predicted, and the line below is a little bit less than what is expected or predicted. We typically trend at that middle line or just above. Actually, right now, our enrollment we're anticipating for next year is 2,460 students. So we're actually trending very close to the upper line right now with our students. So not that much growth into next year, but it's interesting that we are trending just a little bit at the higher edge. I'm always amazed at this study because how close it actually trends even a couple years out to where we really land. I'm going to go through each one of the schools. Again, what you'll see on most of these, starting with Oak Knoll, is most of the time, now Oak Knoll doesn't have any changes for their programs for next year, but most of the time when you see a change, it's typically because of the just grades rolling up to the next grade. So if you have a large first grade and it's rolling up to second grade, you're going to need to add to the second grade and things like that. Oak Knoll right now, we're looking at level staffing across the board and all the programs. You'll see the average class sizes there. Just a note about some of those smaller ones, ECE in particular. The ECE programs always start quite low, and through the end of the year, they can only have up to 10 students. Those are classrooms that have only students with special needs that are 3 to 5 years old. But as students turn 3, they become eligible for the program, so that program enrollment increases across time every single year. And we're trending pretty close to how we normally do there. Briargate is next. Briargate has some movement, and again, these are due to larger class sizes. So when you see the first grade classes, these are actual kindergarten students who will be rolling up to first grade, coming out of Oak Knoll, going up to Briargate. And so right now there's 77 students in first grade. They will roll up to second grade. So we'll be back to 3 teachers in first grade, but we need to add that additional teacher up to the second grade to keep those numbers in check. The same thing is happening down in 4th grade and 5th grade. So we're down 1 in 4th grade, but that larger class is rolling up to 5th grade. Deer Path has one group that's actually coming down a bit. So you see that rolling situation again in 1st and 2nd grade. And then in 5th grade, you'll see that we're down 1. Currently, there's a larger class and there are 4 teachers in 5th grade, but the class of 77 is coming up to 5th. So we're going to 3. That is one that we're keeping an eye on. It is a little bit larger number. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we do a watch on these a little toward the end of the presentation. Three Oaks also has just 1 class changing. Actually, that's the 3rd grade. And that one is going from 3 sections down to 2. So there's a -1 there for staffing. And then Cary Junior High stays level across the board. So financial implications, we put on here every grade that is changing. With the amount of money we use is the amount that it would cost for a new teacher, including salary and benefits. That's why we use the 55,000. So overall, across the district, we would be going down 2 FTEs, so 2 teachers. We're not anticipating any rifts or anything like that because we have many more teachers than that who will be retiring. So there would be no teachers released based on the enrollment trend going down. Not the enrollment trend, but the number of teachers. Next steps that we have are finalizing. This is actually almost done. Mr. Giroux's been working on this with the admin team. We're going to work on this again with the principals tomorrow, finalizing the open positions list. So as we have retirees, as we have people who have resigned from the district, we have grades that are rolling up. Like if it's a second grade, we need to add a section 2. These are all considered open positions. So these all get posted, and then we go through the process of transferring teachers. So we start with teachers first get the opportunity to voluntarily transfer to a position that's open. Once the voluntary transfer process is done, then we look at involuntary transfers where we move students, move teachers, or make placements based on what's in the best interest of the students. After we finish that process, then we post outside of the district and we work on hiring for any unfilled positions. We do have ongoing review of special education staffing needs by building. This is done because the biggest time of movement in special education is essentially from now through really about the middle of May. A lot of IEP placements are being made. A lot of IEP meetings are happening in that period of time. So there's some shifting and changing that goes on as students are added to the IEP rosters or are taken from the IEP rosters. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. There could be some shifts in positions. We're not anticipating the staffing necessarily to go up or down, but shifting positions. So if we have a larger group for social work, say at Three Oaks, and we need to shift some social work time over there and that sort of thing, that we will do. Usually we try to get that done before the end of the school year. And then the final thing is monitoring the class sizes. So that's something that, as the board knows, we do throughout the spring and in the summer. In the summer, I want to say it's weekly. It is a weekly check. It's almost daily because especially as mid-July to late July hits, we start seeing a lot of movement, a lot of students enrolling either in our district or enrolling in other districts and leaving our district. So we'll see a lot of that at that point. And if the board has any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Dr. Thomas, I just had a question about the Cary Junior High. It's saying, this presentation is saying the total student number would be estimate 902, and that seemed really high. The last enrollment update, I believe, was like 785 or something around that number. Are we anticipating more enrollment, or?
I believe they're currently, I don't have the numbers for this current year with me right now, but I believe they're in the 800s right now. And with the group going out being smaller than the group coming in, that's where we see the enrollment go up.
Okay.
We can double check though.
No, I'm just wondering because that would be a huge increase as well, but there are also 3 additional programs in addition to the gen ed here, so I understand. Thank you.
At the top of our heads, do we know how many retirements we have actually accepted in for next year? Okay, thank you.
Does class size recommendations vary per grade?
It varies based on groups of grades. So like kindergarten through second grade, 3rd through 5th and 6th through 8 are all slightly different ranges.
Okay. And do you have recommendations for those groups? Like, what do you?
It's actually in a board exhibit. I don't have that with me right now, but it's in a board exhibit that the board actually sets what the recommendation is for that.
Right. Is that different from your recommendation though?
No.
No, it
No.
doesn't. Okay.
But what we do when we see that somebody is getting close or going over what the recommended ratio is, what we do is we take a look at who's involved in that group of students. Do we have a lot of students with high needs? Is it a relatively easy group? Is it Do we have this size group and we all have all brand new teachers? Like we take a look at a lot of those things to see what the trends are.
Year
With
to
that, and then year to year, and then make decisions based on that. There's also a process for teachers if they have a concern that they can request that if we haven't automatically reviewed it, they can also request to have us review it. And then what we do is teachers make the request, the principal and the superintendent review the information, sit down and talk to the teacher or teachers who have made that request. And then, so we have all the information, and then we make a recommendation based on that. That actually happened this year in first grade at Briargate. We saw the numbers over the summer increasing right before school was starting. We got 3 more students, and it kicked up those numbers. Would have been in first grade, I think it was 25 or 6, or maybe it was 26, 26, and 27 in the 3 classes. And at that point, we ended up agreeing, yes, we need to add 1 more teacher here, which brought the numbers way down, which in first grade, the recommendation, I think, is only up to 22 students, if I'm not mistaken. So it really did bring it right back down in line with where other grade levels were across the district, yeah,
Okay.
with that particular grade level.
Great, thank you. Dr. Thomas, about class size, I'm going to move this because it's weird talking that way. About class size, does the state recommend any particular size? Do they break it down by grade like that, or is it totally up to the board?
I'm not aware, Ms. Rivera, do you know, does this, I don't know that, I don't think that they do, but does the state, do you know if they have any specific recommendations they make for class sizes? I don't know of any.
Okay.
We usually have looked at that based on the grades of the students, the younger students, looking at smaller class sizes for them, and then slightly older students would have, larger class sizes. And keep in mind too, all those class sizes are just an average. So for example, the junior high is a place where you might have one math class that has 20 kids, and you might have another math class that's a very advanced class and has 32 or 33 students. But sometimes if you don't have the 32 or 33, if you said, okay, 24 is the absolute cutoff, that's all we're doing, then you have students who might not be able to take that level of math class because it's not enough to make another section. So to make sure that students get the class they need, that's always the primary thing that we're looking at. So you may have one class that's a little bit above or another class that's a little bit below the range, but the average comes out.
Okay. I know that when we were dealing with COVID in the schools and the distancing, that it was really important that we kept that class size low. And I'm just wondering if it's up to us to change that or what. That's why I'm curious about is it our guidance? Did we come up with those numbers or?
Based on
Yeah. Okay.
based on my experience within previous school district and other educators, it's a conversation that takes place at the district. The state doesn't give an explicit guidance of this is the class size that you should have because it's based off of it's based off of finances, it's based off of enrollment, it's based off of the nuances that exist in the district. And so it's a district decided decision is where that lands.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not in no way am I suggesting this, but I was in 30 kids in my classes, I'm in no way suggesting that. Then it was different then. But I would be interested in knowing if we could pull any of the information to find out maybe what it was prior to us saying we need to have these classes safer, distance them. I just, out of curiosity.
The class size ranges as they are have been that way for quite a long time, and they really didn't go into place until after 2010 when we had major staffing cuts at that point and very large class sizes where nearly every class was 30 students or above. Based on the finances of the district being so dire. And after that, as we kind of came out of that, that's when we went to, first we added back all the specials, and then we worked on really lowering those class sizes into a more manageable range. I would say we're a little bit on the lower end right now. That's not a bad thing for our kids or for our staff for that matter.
Right.
But it is again, just a range. It's just a recommendation. But that I do know that was the genesis of when we started having that class size range was post 2010 when we were rebuilding the district.
I like that. Thanks for sharing that because why would I know that what's going on in 2010 and the reason? So I appreciate that.
I know
Thank
that,
you.
I know this board had the conversation about wanting to keep the class sizes lower because of the additional behaviors that our staff was seeing in the classrooms, et cetera, and making it more manageable for our staff. So, that's my recollection of it since I've been here.
So these ones that are at like 25, over 25, this is the watch and wait and see if more kids enroll, Dr. Thomas?
Right, because in any grade level, for example, I think, I know Deer Path fifth grade is there. I believe there's a couple classes at Three Oaks that are right about that same spot. So those are ones we watch because we do have a lot of movement. We even sometimes have a lot of movement just over winter break. But into the summer, we can be up and down 100 different kids. So it just depends on which grades those kids are moving in and out of. It always seems to come in groups. We just had the largest group just blossom in first grade this year at Briargate. Other years, fifth grade at Briargate could go down 7 kids in 2 weeks. And we just don't know until we get a little further into the summer.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. If there's no other questions, we'll move on to the technology plan. Ms. Rivera, Mr. Fitzsimmons.
Mr. Fitzsimmons is going to walk us through the tech plan for today. It is essentially, you're going to see it's a mirror of what came last year. And he'll walk you through all of that. There'll be one significant difference, which will be all of the items that fall under the category of the referendum. But if you were to remove that portion, items that fall under the referendum, it would be very much copy paste from what it was last year. So with that, I will turn it over to very slowly, Mr. Fitzsimmons. There you go.
Right. Well, I'm going to be working 2 presentations simultaneously and talking, so this should be interesting. All right. So we're going to start as we have in the past with a little rationale. So what is pedagogy? And according to Michael Fullen, it's the driving force for educational change. And he goes on to say that it's a dynamic partnership based relationship between teacher and student where both parties co-design the learning experience to achieve what he calls deep learning. He goes on when he talks about educational technology, he says that pedagogy is the driver and digital, which the way he references technology, is the accelerator. So when the district was working on its instructional framework, we referenced the work of Liz Kolb and her EEE framework. The chart that I provided for you in your document shows how that work also ties very closely to the work of Michael Fullen. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but it's important to realize. I am struggling here. Hang on. It's important to realize that, technology is not optional anymore. It needs to be part of the instructional strategies that we have with our students. The way our students learn today and prepare to move into a technology-centric society, they need to be exposed to this in a meaningful way that helps them with their deep learning. So moving into, what our purchases are going to be to help us with that, we want to, reiterate what we do to keep our students safe, because that is important. Number one, when we're dealing with technology, I want to talk to you about the rollout of the devices, what we're going to be updating for our staff, as well as phase 4 of our infrastructure improvements and upgrades, and then other advances that we will be continuing in our classrooms for whole group instruction, as well as our continued reselling of our old retired iPad fleet. All right, so the district will continue to use Lightspeed to monitor and manage our student iPad fleet. It's made up of 3 components: the MDM, which allows us to push out security policies, apps, and other management features to our iPads. It also includes Lightspeed Filter, which provides content filtering to websites, both at school and at home, anytime they're connected to the internet. And Lightspeed Alert, which alerts our building administration and a few key other people in the district anytime questionable or alarming content might be typed into a search browser or a Google document. Our teachers have access to a tool called Apple Classroom, and we protect our students from anytime you see a website that says sign in with your Google account, we block them from being able to do that to just any website that might be out there or any service that might be out there. We, anytime a student tries it, asks me personally for permission, and I never grant it unless it is on the SOPA list, which is the Student Online Personal Protection Act, and it has been approved as a curriculum tool for the district. So jumping into our device rollout, we'll continue purchasing new iPads for our kindergarten and 5th grade students. 5th grade students will continue to receive a Keyfolio case with their iPads to make it easier to type different documents. The way the district is purchasing iPads right now is through leasing. Currently, we have 2 separate leases going. The 4th column of this chart is where we are currently. Those payments are coming due next month. I believe those bills are with Mr. Shepherd currently. They probably are going to get approved next week, I believe. This year, we will be looking to add a 3rd lease to our iPad fleet. It will contain 510 iPads as well as 300 Keyfolio cases and 300 kindergarten safe cases. A subtotal for the device rollouts this year of the previous 2 leases as well as this year's lease and the kindergarten cases is $165,981.39. For our staff this year, we're continuing our 5-year refresh cycle. We have 35 staff who are up for refresh this year. Came in nice and simple this year. It's going to be $35,000 for the 35 laptops. And we're getting into phase 4 of our infrastructure update, which ties in with the Deer Path renovations this year, the same as we did with Briargate and Oak Knoll and Three Oaks last year. These infrastructure updates will benefit both the security cameras as well as audio enhancement. I'm not going to read all of these slides on audio enhancement because they're the same as last year. One thing I did want to iterate is there is no recording of anything that is being said into the classroom microphones, and there is no way to remotely listen to what a teacher is saying on those microphones. It is simply a connection inside the classroom from the microphone to the speakers. Also included in the audio enhancement improvement is a replacement for our intercom systems and the features for building safety. I know in the past the monitors that are in the hallways has come up, and the question of why we needed those as clocks has come up. And it is a blessing to us that we have only seen the clock feature of what those monitors do. They are emergency signs in cases of tornadoes. They are emergency signs in cases of lockdowns. We don't really want to ever see them used for that. We want them to just be clocks, but they are more than just clocks. They are critical pieces of building safety. Oops. So, audio enhancement at Deer Path this year is estimated to come in at roughly $354,000 plus another $60,000 for the necessary wiring. And then the switch upgrade that needs to happen for the security cameras and audio enhancement comes in at just under $207,000 for an estimated cost of $620,513. District will also continue to replace its antiquated smartboard technology with classroom displays for whole group instruction. This year, we will be looking at roughly 34 displays for Deer Path, as well as 22 displays at Three Oaks. Now, if you'll remember last year, Three Oaks got 12 displays, and that is why they are 12 less than Deer Path with the same school footprint. As far as reselling our fleet, this is a rough list of the iPads that we have available to sell, as well as the way that Second Life Mac, the company we sell these to, grades our device fleet that we send to them. They gave us an estimated max potential value of the fleet that we're selling back as just under $41,000. So a summary of all the purchases this year is shown here, just under $992,000. This is higher than you would normally see because of the audio enhancement features, which last year came as part of the referendum building enhancements for Briargate, Oak Knoll, and Three Oaks. This year, we're bringing it as part of the technology plan. Are there any questions?
I do have some. For the new iPads, are you purchasing those? Not because the other ones you're talking about a lease program.
Right. So every year we have a new class of kindergartners come in that we issue iPads to, and we replace the iPads that the kindergartners have been that the fourth graders have been using since kindergarten to get them through the rest of their time before they go to District 155. That would be the new lease for this year that we add on top of the two previous leases.
Oh, okay. So they're not, the 300 and some is not a purchase price. It is, I'm sorry, let me go back. So we're still leasing them.
Correct.
Okay.
The subtotal that came in just under 166,000 is the three leases and the additional cases we need for kindergarten.
Okay. And the
So the devices that we might possibly sell, how are you wiping them? Is this company, are you getting rid of the hard, how are you managing that?
Yes, they're all wiped and released from our, for lack of a better word, domain, so that other people can make use of them. So there's no information left on them. No licenses or anything are tied back to the
You'll
district.
get like certification of that. Like they'll give you a certificate of whatever, not destruction, because you're not getting rid of the hard drives.
No.
Okay.
The wiping procedure is done by us. They won't take
Oh, you're
them.
doing it.
They
Okay.
won't take them until we've completed that.
Okay. Okay. I feel like I have another one. I'll come back.
Okay.
I have a question. So I know I've brought this up before, but at some point, I guess, are we having a conversation with District 155 on if our middle schoolers it's our job to prepare them for high school? They use Chromebooks in high school. So are we ever going to think about maybe getting them going on those Chromebooks when they're ready, those grades, getting them ready for high school?
So I'll go ahead and chime in on that one. That's not uncommon to see an elementary school district having one object, one item, and then the high school having the other, right? Like my children did the same thing, but it was the reverse. They had Chromebooks throughout their elementary experience, and then D211 is all iPad. There is an interchangeable feature to this with it being technology, right? iPads are, I'm going to go on a guess here and say are not new to our kids. And I'm going to go on a whim here and say computers are not new to our kids either. That's a much larger conversation that's not just dictated by D155, but then also goes back to our own finances here that we would have to delve into that conversation. So while I understand the bigger picture of it, our kids are more resilient with technology than what I think sometimes we give them credit for, and their ability to navigate both iPad and computer. And it's not uncommon that you have a non-unit district where they're not using the same materials. But again, it would have to be an internal reflection on our own finances and what that looks like for us.
And
here.
I understand that. I'm just wondering if we've received any feedback from D155 about if our kids that are using.
No, when I meet with them, it's usually about executive functioning skills is the conversation. It's regarding like standing up and delivering speeches. They don't even touch the topic of technology. From the times that I have met with them, which is we meet frequently throughout the school year, and what they tend to focus on are curriculum aligned topics, whether it's writing, whether it is public speaking is a big one that comes up, which our junior high has really shifted to supporting that public speaking piece because the kids were struggling in high school when they got there and they weren't comfortable with standing up in front of a class and talking. And so it's been more so those executive functioning skills or social emotional skills. That's been the bigger topic when we get together as a collective. What's come up, I've never once had anybody come up and talk about the technology. I can pose the question the next time that we're together.
And
And
just be curious, like, I mean, I know I don't know, just for me, I feel like it's like handing me this and then handing me a laptop.
I mean, kids, right? They have their phones, which is a smaller version of an iPad. And again, I'm just stating the obvious.
Saying because an Apple device is way different than being on a Google device.
Mhm.
They're not anywhere close to the same. And I just like in my mind, I feel like we're preparing them for high school. So we want it to be a smooth
Yeah.
transition.
And I think that's also the beauty then of what we have because our kids have access to the Google. I just
Google.
I aged myself. Hold on. They have access to Google features, right? We're not just using iPad tools. They have access to Google Suite. So in that sense, it transfers over.
Okay.
So there are some nuances of what we are doing that helps support them. So Google Docs, Google Slides, all of Google Suite is accessible.
Yeah, I just want to add, I think the skill set that we should be worried about with our students is device agnostic. We need to be teaching them the skills to use technology effectively in their everyday lives as well as their educational process, and not worried about what device they're doing it on.
Touche. I will bring the question up though, next time that we meet, just to ask and just pose and get feedback from them on that one.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like you can get a Chromebook for a lot cheaper than an iPad too. I mean, it's just, I mean, I understand it's the applications we're using, et cetera, but just a question to pose.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I do have another question. Sorry about the laptop cost for the teachers. So
Yeah.
basically $1,000 a laptop. Do we have like a big purchasing company? Is that, and is that reflective of the current cost of memory right now? And is that expected to, like, when are they going to be purchased?
Hopefully next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So
uh,
pretty current then, okay? Because
yeah.
we know memory is going up almost
Right.
daily.
So yeah, the laptops are universally more expensive right now than they have been in past because of the different costs of things like the memory. So yeah, they're a little bit more expensive this year than they have been in the past, but it still falls within the technology budget and our 5-year refresh cycle.
What kind are they HPs or?
We are purchasing Lenovo currently.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't even know if it falls within the tech plan or finance, but there was one recommendation that the auditors brought, and that was security, ensuring that the district's technology was secure. Has all of that been addressed? Is it here in the plan? Do you have everything needed? Does it not have anything to do with the plan? Does it have to do with the whole different office?
So a lot of those requests that were made by our auditor for tech security, we currently already do.
Okay.
And Mr. Fitzsimmons does a very nice job of making sure our network is secure. The recommendations that were in our report were more universal in nature. Those were comments that they were placing in just about every district's report due to the fact that we've seen an increase in the amount of tech crimes out there. But a lot of the suggestions that we're giving Simmons and currently do quite a few of them.
Thank you.
There are no other questions. Thank you. Thank you. All right, next up we have closed session for the purpose of discussion, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, 5 ILCS 120-2C1. May I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none. If we could take a vote, please.
Stacy Salt,
Yeah.
Dee Darling,
Yes.
Bridget Sandlin,
Yes.
Catherine Potter.
Yes, that motion is approved. Open session ends at 6:48 PM.
Into Google.